Alright guys, today we're checking out Alien Rogue Incursion, the Evolved Edition. This is the non-VR version of last year's terrifying survival horror, rebuilt so you can play it on PC and consoles without a headset. But the big question is, does it hold up outside of VR, or does it lose that immersive punch? That's what we're breaking down today in Play or Pass. Let's get into it. So what exactly is the Evolved Edition? At its core, this is still a first-person survival horror game set in the Alien universe. You're stranded on a remote facility overrun with xenomorphs, and your only goals are simple: survive, hide, and escape. The difference is that it's no longer tied to VR. Everything has been adapted for standard controls with reworked mechanics like aiming, movement, and item interaction. Instead of physically fumbling with your motion tracker or flashlight, you're handling everything with your controller or mouse. The gameplay loop is still pure alien horror. You're crawling through vents, sneaking past xenomorph patrols, scavenging resources, and making tough choices about when to fight and when to run. Think Alien Isolation, but with some updated systems carried over from the VR version. What works? Play. Let's start with the good, the reasons you might want to play. First, atmosphere. Even without VR, the Evolved Edition is dripping with tension. The dark corridors, flickering lights, and eerie sound design make every moment feel unsafe. The sense of dread that the Alien franchise is known for is alive and well here. Second, the AI. The xenomorph is still unpredictable. It stalks, it ambushes, it listens. Sometimes it feels like it's toying with you, and that unpredictability is what makes it terrifying. No two encounters feel the same. Third, quality of life improvements. The devs didn't just strip out VR controls and call it a day. They reworked animations, added smoother aiming and stealth mechanics, and improved inventory management. It feels like a proper survival horror built for PC and console, not just a VR port. And finally, performance. Without the heavy demands of VR, the Evolved Edition runs smoother and looks sharper. On PC and current-gen consoles, it hits stable frame rates and really nails that cinematic feel. And finally, accessibility. Not everyone owns a headset, so making this playable on standard setups means way more fans can finally experience it. What doesn't? Pass. Of course, there are still reasons you might want to pass. First, immersion drop. Let's be real, without VR, the game isn't as terrifying. You don't get that same physical panic of peeking around a corner or fumbling your tracker with sweaty hands. It's still scary, but not quite the same level of intensity. Second, gameplay repetition. The core loop is still hide, sneak, scavenge, and for some players that can get old. If you didn't enjoy Alien Isolation's pacing, you probably won't love this either. Third, combat limitations. While you do have weapons, fighting back isn't always satisfying. Ammo is scarce, and most of the time it's better to run or hide. Some players will love that vulnerability, others will find it frustrating. And finally, story depth. While the atmosphere is strong, the narrative doesn't quite match the tension of the gameplay. It leans heavily on setting and survival, but if you're expecting a deep, cinematic alien story, you might feel underwhelmed. So, who should actually play this version? If you love survival horror, and especially if you loved Alien Isolation, this is basically a must-play. It's tense, it's immersive, and it captures that feeling of being hunted by the perfect organism. If you've always wanted to try the VR version but couldn't because of hardware, this is your chance to finally experience the gameplay in a more accessible format. On the other hand, if you're not into slow, tension-heavy horror games where you spend half your time hiding, this probably isn't for you. Same if you're looking for fast-paced combat or an action-heavy alien experience. That's not what this game is trying to be. So should you play or pass on Alien Rogue Incursion, the Evolved Edition? For me, it's a play. Even without VR, this is still one of the most atmospheric survival horror games out there right now. The tension, the sound design, the unpredictability of the xenomorph, it all comes together to deliver a genuinely scary alien experience. But keep in mind, it's not for everyone. If you want fast action, you'll probably be disappointed, and if you've already played Alien Isolation, this might feel familiar. Bottom line, if you want a pure survival horror experience where every shadow feels dangerous, this is a game you shouldn't miss. But if you're not into that slow, suffocating dread, you might want to pass. That's it for this episode of Play or Pass. Let me know in the comments. Are you diving into the Evolved Edition or are you skipping it? Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more honest breakdowns of the biggest new releases. Until next time, stay safe and watch out for those vents.